Alright guys, welcome to our channel, Moonshot Farm. I'm Josh.
And I'm Heidi.
Today we're going to tell you a little bit about what you could expect to see on our channel and why you might want to follow us.
Let's start with the reason behind why we started a channel. I think that's a good introduction to start with that. Brief history. We started this farm about 5 years ago, not on this exact property, but just the idea of, being a self-sufficient homestead. And we started an Instagram page to share our journey. Are you laughing at me?
No.
You're laughing at me.
I understand eating is bound.
We started an Instagram page to document our journey. And shortly after starting that, we were approached by a television network that had a reality television show on it. They wanted us to be on that show. So we looked into it because we thought it might be an interesting idea, a good way to share our story, a good way to let relatives outside of the state know what we were up to. However, the more we learned and the more we talked to them, we soon came to find out that it really was a reality television show. They wanted us to be super dramatic and not in a sense of running a homestead can be a little bit dramatic, to say the least. It can be stressful and stuff like that, but they wanted a lot of more family drama, a lot of more MTV type drama, if you know what I mean. So we backed away from that because they really wanted our families to go on air and say they didn't approve of what we were doing, they didn't approve of our relationship, and just a whole bunch of stuff that is not true. So we backed away from that and kind of just paused for a while, still did our little homestead in our Instagram, and in the last year or so, finally started toying with the idea of doing a YouTube page. And we finally are sitting down to do an introduction video, even though Josh has hours and hours and hours of video already recorded.
Probably hundreds.
He's insisting that we do an introduction video first, so here we are.
Have to have that.
Introducing ourselves.
Yeah, we actually wanted to start this probably a year ago, and we had probably 10 times as much footage as we do now. But some lowlife decided that they deserved my laptop and our drone and my concealed carry and my wallet that was in my car more than I did, and we lost almost a terabyte of nearly every picture and video of anything that we had ever done at this property, as well as our brand new drone that we just got for shooting footage. And I was pretty sick about that for quite a while. Almost could care less about the monetary value of this stuff. I would have been happy if they just would have sent me my hard drive. So word to the wise, back up all of your crap. That sucked really bad. So we've slowly, within the last 6 months probably, I've started taking videos again. And we've got quite a bit that we're ready to, edit and put out there right now. So let's talk about some of our projects.
So some of the current things that we are doing, kind of at the tail end of the self-sufficiency in terms of power. We have our solar panel array that we just finished installing. Just a couple things to finish up on that, such as the hydraulic system, and getting it coordinated with our smart home features that we have, aka Alexa.
Yeah, so I custom built our entire solar panel system from the ground up. You'll see videos in the future about a lot of that process. I even designed the whole entire structure in CAD. It's a 2-pole mount that houses about 7,000 watts of solar, and the entire array tilts 120 degrees. So, the design behind this, we've always wanted a shelter house or like a pavilion that we could use for parties and just generally cooking out and stuff, a nice patio area with a covered roof. So this served as one of its functions was that. We obviously needed the solar panels, and then we didn't ever want to have to deal with snow. So most people have solar, you're either getting on your roof or you're walking out to your panels wherever they're installed. If you're in a winter climate location like we are in Ohio, and you're scraping all the snows off the panels every day. We never wanted to do that. So this whole entire array is hydraulically tilting. The array itself is 30 feet by 15, and that entire roof pivots 120 degrees. So it'll automatically at night go vertical if it's below 32 degrees, if there's a possibility of snow, and it will be controlled, like she said, through some of the smart features that our house will have. So I guess we should probably talk about kind of like our house and our ideology in general, because we told you that we were building an off-grid house that's self-sufficient, but then we also just told you we have 10,000 watts of solar total with this crazy pivoting mount and Alexa and all kinds of fancy stuff. So our goal is to be as self-sufficient as possible, If we can be completely self-sufficient, that would be great. So we bought 16 acres of bare land in the beautiful rolling hills of southeastern Ohio. And we just moved here full-time 6 months ago. We've had the property for about 2.5 years, but we just moved here 6 months ago full-time. Right now we're in part of our one shipping container for our shipping container house that we're building. We have one unit just about finished, and you'll see more of the design in future videos of what our house is going to look like. But we wanted to build something that was not only self-sufficient, but was what you would consider quote unquote normal. So, you know, we want people to come into our house and feel comfortable, that they can go to the bathroom and they flush the toilet like normal, that they can turn the lights on and everything works like normal. In fact, it will probably be more high tech than the majority of houses out there with all of the automatic features. And, you know, we're trying to build something that's absolutely maintenance free. Everything we do from the inside out, the ground up, is to be maintenance free, from using techniques like shosugi bond, which is where you char wood for the outside finishes on buildings, because charred wood doesn't rot, charcoal doesn't rot. So we're incorporating a lot of those unique techniques, but also having, and those are traditional techniques as well, going back hundreds of years in Japan for the shosugi bond. But adding the technological aspect, the modern aspect, so we're living a comfortable life. So we want to live a comfortable yet self-sufficient lifestyle.
Yep. And to kind of summarize everything going forward, since we just spent so long on one topic.
There's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about, and on this channel you will find a lot of those ideas broken down, a lot of how-to videos, a lot of day-to-day life, to give you kind of an idea of what it is like living off-grid in a tiny home. Kind of the especially part I would say is living in a tiny home right now in winter with a 4-month-old baby, which has been a little bit of a challenge in itself, because most of you that have babies know they take a lot of space. Even if you just get the bare minimum, which is what we essentially did. We tried not to get all the extravagant extras with her, but still takes up a lot of space. And just living in general. You know, we have our kitchen, our bedroom, and our living room are essentially just one big 300 square foot space.
Yeah, one container. And pretty much everything right now that we're living in, an entire living situation, it is in flux. It's going to be in flux for the next probably 2 or 3 years. Hopefully this spring we'll have the first permanent section of the house done, or we'll be starting in the spring, finished probably in the summer or fall. But everything that we're living in, even the room we're in right now, it's all temporary. So you're gonna see like some of the water system stuff that we hooked up, and it doesn't look right, and that's because it's temporary. It's just getting us by. We moved out here kind of last minute when, you know, crap went crazy with COVID. We had already planned on moving out here before COVID happened, but it was a lot going from an apartment in Columbus, where we had been staying for the last year, to actually finally moving to our property and living in one container. So a lot of the stuff we're doing is temporary. So the insulation's not finished in some areas. There's some gaps where we have air leaks. But with all of the projects we have, and that's a lot, when we are literally taking a bare piece of land, adding every single utility ourselves, from water, electric to septic, to doing the homesteading stuff like building gardens, doing the excavation for raised flower beds, and you know, the list goes on and on and on. We kind of are trying to pick and choose our battles. So you'll see us do things sometimes that maybe might not make sense. Like, why would they spend that much money to do that? I was having a conversation with a neighbor the other day about installing fence posts. I have 3 fence posts that we couldn't hammer in, we couldn't pound them in with the machine. They'll have to be augured. And I said I was just gonna buy concrete and throw it in the concrete. And he kind of judged me a little bit for being lazy and not taking the time to actually tamp it. But I told him, with as many projects as we have going on, I have to pick and choose my battles. It makes much more sense for us to spend $3 for a bag of concrete to dump in the hole and walk away than to spend 20 minutes tamping, literally pounding mud with a hammer. Those kind of things just don't make sense. So we're picking and choosing our battles. We'll spend money when it makes sense to, when we have better use of our time doing something else.
Yep, so that's a little bit of an example or a sample of a lot of the things that you will see on our YouTube channel. If you have any special requests, especially those that have been following our Instagram page for a while, let us know in the comments. We will try to accommodate the best we can. The more that you'll kind of watch, you'll get to see a lot of the instructional side of things. Or if you're just even curious about, you know, hey, how do you guys you know, take showers? How do you guys keep a baby entertained? How do you guys cook dinner? Anything like that. We are totally open and want to share this journey with you guys. Yep. Mainly to give other people the idea that you don't have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars and, you know, 100 acres to get started. We started this kind of on a whim, purchasing land when we already had a place to live, paying on it for a couple of years before we moved out, moving out here when I was 30 weeks pregnant and like the hottest summer in 10 years during a pandemic. Just took a chance. We were done with our lease, moved out. We're figuring things out as we go. It's stressful, not gonna lie, but it is very rewarding already, just knowing every bit of money that we're spending is an investment right now.
Yeah, and I think one thing we didn't talk about just briefly was like the money. Of course, everybody wants to know how you do all this stuff with the money. One, I've been self-employed most of my life until a few years ago when I took a job at Ohio State. But through the self-employment, I've been building this huge array of tools, definitely a six-figure tool collection that you'll see in other videos as we're doing all these projects that allows us to literally do every single, we the only thing we've hired out to date was a dozer to come and level our pad out, just because he could literally do it cheaper than I could with our backhoe. And we needed to get here last minute. So we're doing this because we're pretty much doing it cash. We only have a few small loans, but we're trying to build this with cash. So we're not taking any large loans, you know, like a home loan to build this out. We're doing it little by little as we can afford. So basically, you know, when we can afford another container, we'll buy another container, and then, you know, paycheck by paycheck, start buying stuff to build it out. With our main goal being self-sufficient as well as completely debt-free in 5 years. And you know, if some things work out, that's probably the worst case scenario, I think. I mean, maybe the house might not be fully done in like the dream house, but we'll be completely debt free and have a beautiful place to live and be hopefully almost 100% self-sufficient. So trying to do all this on a budget, you know, and making it all work. And you know, we don't want to be in debt to a bank for the next 30 years of our life. That's scary, you know, and we'd rather have this place done and paid for and then buy a house in Florida or something like that if the opportunity, you know, arises. We'd rather have a few smaller places all around the country that we can visit and Airbnb and also use as a source of income stream. So we'll talk about a lot of that stuff and, you know, the money. Everybody wants to know about the money, right? That's the biggest thing. How did you do it? We both do have good jobs. You know, we're not scrapping by on, you know, $8 or $10 an hour. We both have pretty good paying jobs, and they're very flexible, and that allows us to spend a lot of our time here at the property working and building on the house. So, and that's, you know, if you're looking to build something like this and start from the ground up, that may be something that's really important. But, you know, there's a lot of different ways to do what we're doing, and I think ours is probably kind of unique. I think we're a good hybrid of that super sexy modern house with, you know, the off-grid self-sufficient lifestyle.
Yep. So all of that is kind of an idea of what you guys will see on the channel. Thanks for checking us out. I know it's our first video, kind of just throwing it together here. Like I said, third attempt. We've been interrupted a couple times. We've had bad lighting. So finally getting this out there. But we're super excited to keep posting and chat with all of you guys, especially those in the same boat as us. It's really cool to meet like-minded people that are all on the same journey together and build relationships.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Like and subscribe. And if you get a chance, go and check out our friends at Homestead. They have a YouTube as well as an Instagram page as well. So go check them out. Peace. See you next time.
Are you ready to do our introduction? This is Josh.
What's up?
He's the, if you saw in one of our recent posts, he's the lazy one who just sits around, and I do everything on the homestead. I do all the cleaning and apparently also everything else.
It's true. Dashing.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
All right, let's make sure it's not hooked up to any Bluetooth.
Hold on, I gotta go brush my beard.
Okay.
Decoration. Does this have a purpose? What is this
raisin?
for?
Is this a raisin?
I have no idea. Oh, maybe a nut.
Oh, it's a nut. It's milk chocolate.
They all are.
Milk chocolate and margaritas. Not a good combination.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there.
This is take 3. Take 3 of our introduction video.
Is it rolling?
Yes.
Sweet.